feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
Brian Giles with Brian Giles MTG. And hoo-ha, we're back with more Foundation spoilers. Starting our list off today, we have what looks like maybe a leftover from the Bloomburrow set that wasn't included in the actual Bloomburrow set. So this is Banner of Kinship, 5 generic for an artifact that reads, as this artifact enters, choose a creature type. This artifact enters with a fellowship counter on it for each creature you control of the chosen type. Creatures you control of the chosen type get +1/+1 for each fellowship counter on this artifact. Hoo-ha! This is a big deal for any type of tribal type of cards. So I am definitely seeing where this might go. Hoo-ha! Anybody playing tribal decks would like to have this particular artifact in their deck. Hoo-ha! Next up, we have the reprint of Wildwood Scourge. Green and an X for a 0/0 Hydra. It enters with X +1/+1 counters on it. Whenever one or more +1/+1 counters are put on another non-Hydra creature you control, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. So this is a Hydra you want in your non-Hydra deck. So this is designed to be played in a +1/+1 counters deck. Hoo-ha, which is a bit of a thematic in this set, so I'm not surprised to see this being reprinted here. Next up, we have Classic Ghalta. Ghalta Primal Hunger. Super beefy. 2 green and 10 for a 12/12 Elder Dinosaur. It costs X less to cast, where X is the total power of creatures you control, and it has trample. I do like the full art, though. That is arguably very, very sick. Hoo-ha! Okay, so next up we have Celestial Armor. Now, this hasn't been seen before, and I don't know if it's a leftover from something else, but it's a white and 2 for an artifact equipment with flash. When this equipment enters, attach it to target creature you control. It gains hexproof and indestructible till end of turn. Equipped creature gets +2/+0 and has flying, and you can equip it for a white and 3. Well, this certainly can do some stuff. Hoo-ha. Next up, we have Soul Weaver. Now, this is definitely new because I've never seen this spider before. So it's a green and 2 for a 4/3 spider. It has reach. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, you may reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card. Put that card into your hand, the rest of the bottom of your library, in a random order. This is it's arguably an interesting spider. I might find a way to slot this in my spider deck. because spiders. Yeah, spiders. Next up, we have Inspiring Call. I believe this also is a reprint. At a green and 2, you get an instant that reads, draw a card for each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it. Those creatures gain indestructible till end of turn. Okay. There's an instant, especially if you're playing a +1/+1 counters deck, which, like I said before, is a thematic in this set. Hoo-ha! Next up, we have the return of Youthful Valkyrie, which actually, while it might drive down the price of this card, it actually makes this card more accessible. This card was very hard to find because it was only found in one of the Kaldheim Commander decks. While online, you could get it. You could not get it. It was not found, in the regular release of Kaldheim, which drove the price of this card up greatly. Aside from the fact that it's a cheap angel at a white and 1 for a 1/3 angel with flying, and whenever another angel you control enters, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. So, hoo-ha! This angel is very powerful at uncommon level and was highly sought after because of its limited availability. Putting it here, especially with the angel thematic, does wonders for the game in itself, and you get a full art, which is absolutely sick. Hoo-ha! Next up, we have Classic Abrade, which I can understand. This is a widely used card. At a red and 1 for an instant, you can choose one. Either deal 3 damage to target creature or destroy target artifact. The full art, and again, this is the first time I think Abrade has gotten a full art treatment, and I'm not unhappy. This thing is absolutely, I love it. Swiftblade Vindicator. I love this card. I have a deck based around Feather the Redeemed, both on Arena and as in a commander format that features this card, because the value you get with this is you get a red and a white for a 1/1 human soldier with double strike, vigilance, and trample. Now I paired this with the blade from Kamigawa, so that if you die, it gets exiled, and the blade allows the next creature to get all of these abilities. But see, in my Feather deck, my is designed on instants that basically return themselves. So this thing will continue to grow and get bigger, and it becomes, after a while, it becomes a menace. Heroic Reinforcements. Again, this is a widely used card at a red, a white, and 2 for sorcery that reads, create 2 1/1 white soldier creature token. Till end of turn, those creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain haste. So you get a couple guys that are basically 2/2s that can attack right away. and it gives +1/+1 to the rest of your creatures. And if you got any other creatures that need haste, it gives them haste as well. So ho-ha! Then we have Goblin Negotiation. This is a fun card for your Goblin deck. So 2 red and X for a sorcery that reads, Goblin Negotiation deals X damage to target creature. Create a number of 1/1 red goblin creature tokens equal to the excess damage dealt to that creature this way. So this is something that's designed to take out small creatures, but you pump a lot into it so you can pump out a lot of goblins. Hoo-ha! Next up is Needlefeather Great Worm. I guess a new creature for this set at 2 green and 4 for a 7/7 trample. During your turn, whenever a creature you control deals combat damage, put that many +1/+1 counters on it. You may cast this card from your graveyard by removing a total of 6 +1/+1 counters from creatures you control in addition to paying its other costs. Yeah. Let's just screw Colossal Dreadmaw and just make this super powerful mythic, and you can bring it back from the graveyard. In a +1/+1 counters deck, this card is a beast. I don't know if you would consider it a beast or a worm. It's probably a worm. But yeah, a 7/7 worm. Yeah, you can come back from the graveyard. It deals lots of damage. This is another reason why I'm not feeling bad about having something like Doubling Season in this set, because this makes Doubling Season more useful. Hoo ha ha ha. I'm sorry. I have a friend who loves squirrels, and I am going to absolutely send him a copy of this card. So this is Preposterous Proportions. 2 green and 5 for a sorcery that reads, creatures you control get +10/+10 and gain vigilance till end of turn. I'm going to have to remember this card. Pause for the cause. And we're back. I have like I said, I have a friend who loves squirrels and has his whole channel is based around squirrels and stuff like that. And this is just a thematic thing for him. And I sent him a picture of this particular card. But again, at 7 mana, all your creatures are 10/10 and have vigilance. Yeah, in a commander deck, this could be a game changer. Especially if creatures have either menace and or trample. Or, for that matter, even flying. Yeah, yes. This is this card is, pardon the pun, a little nutty. Hoo-ha. So, next up we have Dragon Trainer, which hasn't seen a reprint in a bit. So, 2 red and 3 for a 1/1 human. When this creature enters, create a 4/4 red dragon creature token with flying. I wouldn't mind seeing more dragons, and we haven't seen a lot of dragons yet. We know that there's going to be a dragon-themed Jumpstart pack. So, again, I will feature that in my my review of the Jumpstart cards for Foundations, which arguably, and I will say this here and I will say it again there, is probably on par or even better than the original 2020 Jumpstart. They did well with this. And I am not going to lie, this set is going to be the benchmark of Magic going forward in terms of being a core set and cards that you can start the game with. Hoo-haw. Next up, we have Kiora the Rising Tide. Now, again, I wasn't around for the set, the early Theros sets that featured Kiora in, so I don't know if this is a reprint or not. Oh, it is. It is a post reprint because it has the D-Spark symbol on it. So this is a new Kiora. Hoo-ha. So, a blue and 2 for a 3/2 legendary Merfolk Noble. When Kiora enters, draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards. Threshold. When Kiora attacks, there are 7 or more cards in your graveyard. You may create Scion of the Deep, a legendary 8/8 blue octopus creature token. Okay. I will not. The full art is very nice. I'm gonna. That's a stamp of approval because I do remember that Kiora was made into a planeswalker at one point, and with the D-Spark symbol, this is a new Kiora. I'm liking it. Not bad. You can get some card draw. If you get some cards in the graveyard. It creates an 8/8 legendary buddy. Not unhappy. Especially if you're playing type of a blue Merfolk, sea tribal type deck. I'm going to say cool. We have Rune Sealed Wall. A blue and 2 for a 0/6 artifact creature wall with Defender. Tap it to surveil 1. Okay. A nice blocker that's low cost and allows you to surveil. Excuse me. Classic Meteor Golem. Not quite sure why they included this, because it is a beefy 7 generic for only a 3/3 artifact creature golem that when it enters you can destroy a target non-land permanent an opponent controls. I'm sure you get some removal there, but it's still beefy. And I never actually really saw the use for this, but I guess it's just a kind of a staple. Next up, we have a reprint of Krenko Mob Boss. Because goblins. 2 red and 2 for a 2/2 goblin, legendary goblin lord, I would imagine. Tap it to create X 1/1 goblin creature tokens where X is the number of goblins you control. Because goblins. Then we have the return of Tolarian Terror. Now, this creature, did make quite an impact in one certain deck. And it can be a fun card to play with. So it appears to be a beefy blue and 6 for a 5/5 Serpent. It costs 1 less to cast for each instant and sorcery card in your graveyard, and it has Ward 2. But in a Spellslinger deck, this thing comes down really, really fast. And there were decks out there that featured this as kind of like their big bad in the deck, but it didn't cost that much because by the time you got it out, it was like, anywhere from 1 to 3 mana. It was just, and with the Ward 2, it made it much harder to get it off the board. Next up, we have the return of Spectral Sailor, which is a blue mana for a 1/1 Spirit Pirate with flash and flying, and you can spend a blue and 3 to draw a card. So hoo-ha! This is a useful card that's featured in a lot of blue decks. Not only as a flashing in chump blocker, but also for the later edition of card draw as well. So hoo-ha! Not surprised to see that reprinted in a set like this. We're gonna stop right there, and we will see you on the next video because we're at almost 22 minutes. So hoo-ha! We'll see you on the next video.